Hey, Sanford here, and welcome to Intrepid, 21st Century Gym, where we practice circus and mental wealth. And today's episode is episode number 10. And today's word or words are they're interchangeable actually. So the phrase mental health, I actually love brain health. And then the phrase emotional health, I actually really love emotional intimacy. So, welcome and thank you for joining me today. I just want to talk about what that looks like, what that means. And as I said, I will interchange mental health and brain health and emotional health with emotional intimacy. So, if you hear the phrases, just stay with me, okay? So, I want to really look at a few people who struggled, who've had issues with their brain health and their emotional intimacy, and then I want to talk about you. So, first of all, we need to stop lying and covering up and denying our mental health and our emotional health. We need to understand that so many people struggle in this area of life, particularly now with the coronavirus really highlighting these things. Most of the time, what I really want us to get is that the domestic violence that so many people are talking about now, it was, it's not new. It is just been covered up. The suicides, the rate of that has gone up. And again, it's something that people have probably thought about before. But now it's highlighted. The struggle with staying focused, the struggle with staying in your relationship, the struggle with wanting to understand what you should do now. These have all just been hidden behind the mask that we carry in our life, which is our emotional and mental health. So maybe you've heard of this name, Imani Boycott. Okay, she was a professional basketball player, and she first tried to kill herself when she was 10. Michael Phelps, most decorated Olympic swimmer of all times, used drugs to self-soothe and to take his mind off of wanting to commit suicide. Allison Schmidt, okay, she was also an Olympic swimmer. She battled with mental health issues for years. A few months after trying to commit suicide, her teenage cousin then killed himself. Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams was a former NFL superstar who was so unhappy in his life, even though he was making millions of dollars. He was constantly depressed. He was constantly avoiding his family and his friends, and he had what they said at that time was emotional anxiety. Okay, so the last one I want to mention, so many people know this name, okay? And it's Serena Williams, superstar tennis player, right? And after winning Wimbledon, she found herself unhappy and crying all the time. She was also struggling from mental health issues. And here are a few celebrities, okay? We seem to be really struck by celebrities, and I'm no different. I love watching movies. I love watching them on Netflix and YouTube. But I'm really at that point in my life where I understand that they're just symbols. They're just symbols. It's kind of like our government. The people that are the head of the government, they're not really running things. There's people behind the scenes. So it's the same thing. People behind the scenes are really telling us what to think and who to be and what's real and what's not. And this is why this brain health and emotional intimacy is so very important in this particular time of our lives. So anyway, here's a couple of celebrities who also struggled. And again, you may know these names: Selena Gomez, Halle Berry, Adele, and Lady Gaga. Okay, those are just to name a few. Now, these people, of course, we've heard of them because they're high profile. But we never hear about the young boy or the young girl in Dragør, Denmark, or Fukuoka, Japan, or Hawke's Bay, New Zealand, or Mount Isa, Australia, or Grand Crossing, Illinois, in America. We never hear about these people. This is not a new topic for me. I have been speaking and running programs that share the facts, the warning signs, even the things that experts have shown us that worked, things that are helping us and things that are shifting and improving our brain health and our emotional intimacy, I've been talking about for many years now. Why I'm speaking on it again is because we have seen very little change. Let me take a step back and explain, okay, what brain health, our mental health, emotional health, our emotional intimacy is really about and how they interconnect with each other. Okay? So mental health is your ability to process information. It's your ability to process information as it's coming in. Okay? And that could be things like stress. That could be things like fear. That could be things like guilt. That could be things like rejection, loss, or, decisions that you have to make in your business or in your relationships. Okay? And so emotional health or emotional intimacy is your ability to express your feelings. Okay? And so that you can express them by screaming, you can express them by laughing, crying, getting violent, running away, becoming mean or spiteful, or you can become vulnerable, open, or wanting to have a conversation so you can find a way to understand what's going on. While brain health and emotional health are different, they are very intricately connected, as I mentioned before. Mental is your thinking, okay, your neural process, okay, and emotional is the way you express it. It's sort of the way that you express it. It never ceases to amaze me whenever I create a new program that I'm about to do right now for schools and for youth programs. Some adult will come to me and go, Sanford, what about the fun? What about the fun part in your program? What about the play? What about the joy? Instantly, three things come to mind. First of all, juggling, handstand, partner acrobatics. You tell me, is that not fun? Is that not fun? Okay. 2, our kids naturally know how to have fun. It is us as adults who want them to have so much fun, we forget to enjoy the moment ourselves. Okay? And I want us to understand that fun, happiness, joy, it all comes in waves. Working hard is something that can be joyful as well. It can be fun and can build confidence. It's its own process. And thirdly, this is the third thing. For many of our youth, okay, and this is what I really want you to get. For many of our youth, the mental health issues, the emotional health issues really come at them when they're by themselves, when they're in their silent time, when they're downside. It really peaks at that time. And they start to really struggle with their fear, their shame, their anxiety, and their insecurities, or what I like to call fussy. All right? And so we have to understand that we must address these issues just as much as the fun, the joy, the play, the positivity. Because everything has a flip side, a yin and a yang. What causes emotional and mental health issues? Okay. Well, according to mind.org UK, child abuse, trauma, and neglect, social isolation and loneliness, which is a big thing right now. Okay. Experiencing discrimination or stigma. And as we well know, a lot of people feel that the coronavirus came from China, so they're really discriminating right now against the Chinese. But of course, as a black man, I get that all the time in some way, shape, or form. Okay? Social disadvantage, poverty, debt, losing someone, severe or long-term stress, having long-term physical health conditions. Okay? Like, I have a knee issue. Okay? And it's on my left leg. It's been bothering me for probably 3 months now. Okay? Now, I'm very good at doing fitness. I'm very good at doing physiotherapy for myself. I'm very good at meditating and finding ways to work through these things and to work with these things. And I let them get to me. But there was a time when I had a back issue that kept me down for almost a year because I just couldn't get my head around it. I couldn't get my psyche and my physical and emotional health to really work that for me. Okay? So I eventually had to go get help. Okay, so these physical injuries can also cause us to go down and spiral down that emotional and mental health pathway. Okay, other ways that can really destroy our mental and emotional health is unemployment. Okay, again, happening now. Homelessness or poor housing, drugs, alcohol, and the misuse of it. Not just drugs and alcohol, because not everyone gets addicted. Okay, we have to get into this right now. Not everyone gets addicted. Not everyone gets stuck. Okay, but it's the overuse, the abuse of. Okay, the misuse of. Okay, other things are bullying, domestic violence, victim of seeing a crime or seeing a natural disaster or war. Okay, there's also, of course, the chemical aspect that's in the genes. Okay, which science, of course, has proved that's a very small part, though, but it can be in the genes in your chemical makeup. Okay, and so we don't want to leave that out. But also, it can be a taught behavior. Okay, and this is also having to do with our brain health and our emotional intimacy. It can be a taught behavior such as manipulation, fear, revenge against a parent who's going through a divorce or a partner, anything in those areas. Okay, our youth will learn what we teach them directly or indirectly. I know it's scary to bring up brain health or mental health, emotional intimacy or emotional health, because we cannot talk about it without revealing our own selves, without revealing our own past, without revealing our own families and things that we've gone through. And studies show a lot of parents, teachers, and even world leaders don't know they are struggling with mental or emotional conditions. But one quick way to recognize if your family members are struggling with short or long-term mental or emotional issues is to take a step back to see how they are handling this current coronavirus crisis. Okay, these insights come from Sane Australia. You can check out on their website. Okay, so some of the ways are feeling anxious and worried all the time, day and night, feeling depressed or unhappy, or tearing up often, avoiding their hobbies or their interest, emotional outburst of anger, frustration, or guilt. If they're having sleep problems. Now, recognize the experts say the average sleep is between, we get the average sleep of 6 to 8 hours. But if they're being insomniacs, okay, if they're sleeping throughout the day, up and down, up and down, up and down, okay, they may be struggling with that. Or if they have to have medications often to go to sleep. Weight or appetite changes, going up and down, even more quiet or withdrawn than normal, okay, withdrawn from their friends and their families and people that they're close to. Substance abuse, constantly overdoing it. Constantly overdoing it. It's not the one or two drinks. It's not the occasional snort of this or that or, whatever you're doing. It's the overuse. It's why are they doing it when they're doing it, okay? It's not the drug. It's the what are they getting from that drug or that alcohol that they're covering up something from that's hurting them, okay? And feeling guilty or worthless, frequently criticizing oneself or blaming themselves, expressing themselves in a way of wanting to hurt themselves. And lastly, huge emotional and behavior changes. Now, I want to end this, okay? I want to stop right now because I know we're going over that 15-minute mark, and I know our attention spans, or at least the world tells our attention span is very short, but I don't believe that. I believe if something is really worth us understanding about ourselves and the people that we care about, we will research, we will read, we will try to get in depth, and I certainly hope this is one of those topics. Okay, so let me just end this here by saying there's not a one-size-fits-all brain health process or an emotional intimacy process. Our brains are constantly thinking and trying to problem solve, to find peace, fun, safety from confronting and uncomfortable situations. So telling someone just to be mindful is not enough. Telling someone, go talk it out is not enough. Telling someone just to go do a workout is not always enough. If it was, then there would be less financial stress. There would be less fear, less domestic violence. There would be less office, school, and business bullying. Okay? And maybe, just maybe, the drug and alcohol business wouldn't be raking in millions and millions of dollars a year. So just let me leave you with 5 things that I do that help me to really strengthen my brain health and my emotional intimacy. And hopefully they can help you, or you may already have things that you do. Maybe this can just enhance. Okay, I won't go into depth. I'll just explain them. If you want to do the research, you can, okay? So the first one is the Wim Hof breathing method, okay? The Wim Hof breathing method. So that's W-I-N and then Hof, H-O-F. Look him up. He's a very interesting man, very wise, and the technique that I use it almost every day. I'm probably at an 85 percentile of using it almost every day, okay? Another one that I do is I do different stretches and fitness routines, okay? I have primarily 4 to 5 routines that I do, but I can shift those between a short 20-minute or a long hour, hour and a half to 2 hours, okay? I also, when I think about a friend or a family member, I call them, okay? I don't just text them or email them, okay? I'm a voice-to-voice or face-to-face person. That to me, that's a strong connection. The 4th thing that I do is I write. I love writing poetry. I love writing and researching topics, of course, about brain health, emotional intimacy, courage, fear, anything that really drives me and lifts me, okay, that writing. And maybe you just want to write about things that are going on for you in your day-to-day, like journaling. That may help you. And the last one is reflection time. I like to reflect on my life, but I do it, I'll do it running, or I'll do it walking on the beach, or up in a tree, or up on a rooftop, okay? When the sun is rising, when the sun is going down, if it's at night, I love looking up at the stars. And if it's raining, I'll go sit out in the rain. So those are just 5 things that I do to strengthen my brain health and emotional health. I want to thank you guys very much for joining me, and make sure that you like, comment, and share this information. To me, this is so very crucial to us having a strong and powerful outcome as people. Okay, thank you guys very much for popping in, and as always, love your mission. Peace. Bye now.